So thanks to all of you guys that commented on my last video when I was asking you what percentage of luck, or basically what percentage does luck play in your sync licensing career. So if you're getting started in this business, we all definitely know that there are lucky situations that happen to some people, but the question is, how important is that luck in terms of is that really the determining factor that makes or breaks somebody's career? Is it basically completely out of our hands in terms of just like lightning strikes and we get a career? Or is luck completely irrelevant? We just basically completely create our own destiny, and or is it somewhere in the middle? So many of you guys responded and commented, and I really appreciate that. This was the result of my poll inside of Sync Academy, and as you can see, a vast majority of people were kind of in the 10 to 25% range. So it's interesting that I had 3 people say 100%, which for those of you that answered that way, that it's like literally, it's completely up to luck and chance for you to succeed in this business. I kind of want to know what you're doing in Sync Academy, because why would you sign up for a program to get better educated on a business that you have no control over whether you succeed or not? So I'm a little confused on that. I'm wondering if you guys just clicked it accidentally or something, but that's a little bit, I don't know, a little bit worrisome for me, actually. I don't know why that is. There was actually quite a few that said 0, that luck has nothing to do with you succeeding or not, that you completely control your destiny based on your work and putting yourself in the right position over and over again. And so I think that's a really empowering point of view. I think neither one of these is correct. This is just my opinion. This is what I've seen in this business. I obviously don't think that, because if it was 100%, you would have to see these stories where literally somebody was sitting at their day job and a library executive walked into their day job and just said, "You can quit now. Here's your career. I'm going to basically hire you for the next 25 years. I've never heard your music. I don't even know if you make music, but I want you to work for me." Like, that would be kind of how you'd see a lot of those sort of stories where somebody doesn't work at all towards it and suddenly, their career is handed to them. So I think we can safely rule out 100%. The 0%, while I'm sort of friendly to that point of view, I think we can rule that one out as well, because there are definitely situations, and I've had it in my career, where I'm working super hard, I'm pumping out tons of tracks, and I see somebody else who's also working super hard, pumping out a lot of tracks on the same catalog in the same library. But in my career, I've seen it happen where that producer gets way more placements or way more bigger placements, and I'm sitting there getting my tiny placements or not a lot, and I'm like, what's the deal? Like, am I just not in the right place, the right time? And I feel like our music is comparable. And I've also had the same situation where I kind of have beginner's luck with some libraries, where right out the bat I get involved in the library and boom, one of the biggest like a custom gig gets thrown to me. And I remember one of them, it was like a $6,000 job within like a month of working with them, boom, right off the bat. And after that, it really slowed down. Like, I didn't see a lot of opportunities from them. So what was that about? I don't know, right? And I'm sure there were a lot of other producers that had been working with that company for years, going for that opportunity, and then didn't get that. And it's like, I'm just this new guy that shows up and boom, I get this huge paycheck, which is really, really cool. So I don't think it's 0% either. My personal opinion on this is it is probably around that 10 to 25%. Now, that doesn't mean, though, that it's completely up to the stars whether or not you're going to succeed. So even though, let's be generous and say it's about 25% of your career will be determined by the fact that you'll be either just in the right place at the right time, or you'll work with the right library who just happens to need your music, or there just happens to be a client that really, really picks you up. The reason why it's lower, I think it's lower than 50%, but definitely higher than 0%, is because there are definitely going to be situations where if you just happen to be producing music and consistently showing up with a library, there will be an opportunity, or there could be, I should say, there not always will be, but there could be an opportunity that just shows up where you happen to be making the exact type of music that this exact client needs, which happens to be a placement that is massive out of this world, like into the stars. I interviewed a producer on my channel here just a few months ago who got huge theme placements on Fox Sports, and I don't know if it was Disney, I think it was Disney Kids or something like that. And he'd been one of these producers that has been just grinding. He started just about the same time I did, grinding. And then one day, boom, royalties through the roof. 6 figures plus happens. Basically, it seems like overnight, because he just finally happened to be the producer at that one time for those few opportunities that blew his royalties through the roof. So is that luck? Yes, in a way, that's about a 10 to 25% luck situation. Now, did he just sort of stumble into the business on day one and find that opportunity? No, right? That's where the luck percentage comes down quite a bit. And he actually gave this great analogy, and I want to share it with you again, is that he says it's basically like you are trying to chisel a huge boulder. You're trying to split a boulder in half, and you've got your chisel and you got your hammer, and this boulder is, 10 feet tall. It's just this massive thing, and you just keep chipping at it, chipping at it, chipping at it, chipping at it, chipping at it. And let's say it takes it, let's say for him, for him to break through that 6-figure barrier, that was his big boulder. It took him, I don't know, 9, 10 years basically of him cranking out, track after track, working consistently, never stopping. And so basically the way that he sees it, or how he saw it, for the story of his career, is that he was constantly chipping every single track. He was just crank, 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 crank. And then on the 700th, I don't know how many, he probably got thousands of tracks. Let's say it was the 22,323rd knock, basically track. He finally hits that boulder and the whole boulder splits in two, right? And that's when he finally breaks through this huge opportunity. So you look at that situation and you think, okay, so did he just get lucky that it was the 2,332nd, whatever I said before, hit that just, he just hit it that many times and that's why he broke through. And which one of those hits actually made the biggest difference? You would want to think it's the last one because that's the one that got it. But would he have even gotten to that last crack if he didn't start with the first one and didn't keep hitting that boulder every single day? So I believe this 25%, if we're going to be gracious with it, you can make that happen for yourself by being consistent, by showing up, by constantly showing up to your boulder every day with your chisel like a caveman and just bam, bam, bam. And that's what it's going to feel like for a long time, is that you're not making a lot of progress. Like for him, chipping away, but nothing's happening. A couple of little dust, things fly off. A little bit of the rock, maybe once in a while, chips off, but nothing's breaking. He's not really making any. It doesn't look like he's making any progress. So that's what this journey looks like. It's just you're banging on something and nothing's really happening. You're not seeing a lot of progress, a lot of forward momentum, and then one day, crack, you go right through it. And there's this massive flooding of, whoa, I just got into this amazing situation. That little crack is the 10 to 25% of luck. You stayed there, you went to the right place where most of the action and energy was happening, so that when luck was ready to find you, you were available to accept it. So that's my point of view on it. I think when I first got started on this business 13, 14 years ago, I was much more in the sort of luck was probably 50% of it. I thought, you can work really hard, but really there's just a couple of people that are really going to blow up, because I was coming from the mindset of the record business where how many artists get deals but then get sat on, get squashed, and nothing really happens, or they make one album and then they're gone. So I thought, man, there's so much luck in the music industry that I just don't know if you're really going to succeed. And then as I kept on cranking away at this business and saw a little bit of progress, a little bit of royalties, a little bit of placements, then some custom opportunities, then working and getting into bigger and bigger libraries and clients. And I was just like, So it's not like every day something great happens to me, but as time goes on, more and more good things are happening to me. So am I just lucky, right? Am I just sort of constantly finding these lucky situations? It's no, because they're not happening every single day, but there's enough of them happening that I'm realizing that it's happening because I'm here, right? And there's a lot of producers that joined with me that bailed, and just because they're gone, they won't see these lucky situations happen for them because they're just not there to receive them. So a biggest part of the battle, and I think I don't know if it was Woody Allen or somebody famous once said, biggest part of the battle most of the time is just showing up, just being there, so that when the lucky stuff comes, you can be there to supply it. So anyways, guys, I want to know what your thoughts are on this. Did it challenge your beliefs maybe about luck? Did it confirm what you already believed? I really want to know, because I think this is the kind of stuff, it's your mindset is so important for going down a rough path and a hard path, basically, with this business, because like I said, it takes so long to see those results. So if you have the right expectations from the beginning, especially when it comes down to fate and destiny and luck and these things that we can't control, and you can kind of get a more realistic and healthy frame around it, maybe it can help you not feel so helpless and out of control in this business, because we need as much motivation and encouragement as we can possibly get in this business. So I'd like to know what you guys thought. Please leave your comment below.